Hi, this is Carolyn Jaymes from Holistic Campus, and I'm here today with Glenn Ambrose, and he's one of our founding practitioners, and he's a life coach. And I thought I would welcome him here today, and we can talk a little bit about what he does. So welcome, Glenn.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Very good. Happy to be here.
Oh, good. So if I know what you do is involved in, there's so much to it, but just generally, as a life coach, what is it exactly that you do?
Really what I try to do is to get to the core of the issues that people are struggling with. And it could be anything, some people it's relationships, business, and business and relationships cover a lot of areas, so it's relationships can be, romantic, but it can also be father-son or mother-daughter or friendships or work-related relationships or, so everything kind of spills into everything else. Mm-hmm. And usually what's troubling us or what we notice that's troubling us are symptoms. So what I do is I listen to the symptoms and I go underneath it to get to the core. Then once you identify the core, and you do the work on that and you shift the core of the issues, then all of a sudden all the symptoms start taking care of themselves. So it's, so really that's what I try to do is just get to the core of the issue and really solve that. And then it's amazing how many different ways life starts getting happier and more fulfilling off of that.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I can only imagine how many different issues there are. So it must really be very different for each person.
It is very different for each person, but there's not that many core issues, which is kind of nice. So to me, in a way, it simplifies my job because, if I got caught up in all the symptoms, then there are literally billions of different symptoms. But if I listen to the symptoms and get underneath, there's only so many core issues. So if you deal with those, and that's what I'm always listening for, is what's underneath what the person is saying. Mm-hmm. Because what they're saying is just what they're noticing consciously. But what's underneath at the deeper level, it's I believe one of the things that I really believe in is if you want to get closer to the truth, you simplify. If you want to get further from the truth, you complicate, So I'm constantly simplifying and getting underneath deeper to the core truth.
Oh, that's beautiful. That makes so much sense. Of course, there probably are just very specific core issues. That makes a lot of sense. So why do you do this?
Because it's fun. Well, that actually is why I still do it now, because it's fun. Mm-hmm. But for me, I lived a very dysfunctional life for 20 years. And there was a lot of suffering, some of it conscious, some of it unconscious. And, and then I really tried to pull myself together and make something of my life. And I started a business and I bought a house and got married and had a kid. And I found out I was more unhappy than when I was a screw up. When you're failing at life, it's easy to see why you're not happy. It's because you're failing at life, But when I succeeded at life, then I was in trouble. Now all of a sudden I was like, okay, now I've succeeded at everything society told me to do, and I'm still not happy. I'm actually more unhappy. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the beginning of my end.
Whereas when you were screwing up, you were following your heart.
Yeah. So I told myself, So and it was like, well, society just didn't understand me, But so it's, it's one thing to survive failure. Everybody knows how to do that. You just pick yourself up and you move on. Well, how do you survive success when you find out happiness isn't there? And, so once I hit that wall, and then it kind of went into about maybe a 2-year downward spiral before I actually woke up. But then when I finally woke up, I woke up to a completely different reality by shifting my own perspectives.
Wonderful.
So once I did that, I was like, I realized that I hadn't screwed my life up because I wanted to. I screwed my life up because I didn't know any better. So once I started going out and helping other people and just showing them the different perspectives, if you give somebody an unhealthy perspective and a healthy perspective and you allow them to choose, they'll choose the healthy one. They're not choosing the unhealthy one because they want it, they want their life to be filled with suffering. They're choosing it because they don't know what the healthy one is.
Right.
So once I started bringing that clarity to people, it was like, wow, I really enjoy doing this. And then I kind of could look back into my early life and find out that I was doing this on some level or another my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
What a beautiful thing to be able to know that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, finally, I people that used to know what they wanted to do with their lives used to piss me off,
Well, personally, it took me 50 years, so you're doing really well.
Yes, I slid just under that. So.
So it sounds like, boy, you're really bringing, talk about authenticity, so much of it to what you do. So after you go through the process or start working with someone, what do they start to see change in their lives?
When do they start to?
No, what? Not when.
Oh, what changes? Yeah, they really whatever issues we're working on. I mean, like a lot of times it's that first session. Mm-hmm. It's that first session when the lights start coming on. Mm-hmm. and people know, because I mean, one of the things that I feel I'm very good at is relating to a lot of different people, because I've lived a lot of different lives, kind of. So it's kind of jail to Yale. It doesn't matter where you are, I can relate. But really relating to people and conveying things in a way that they can connect to is something that I'm good at for most people. Every once in a while, I run across somebody that it just doesn't click with, and they should actually be with a different teacher.
And that happens, of course.
It happens. I mean, it's fairly rare for me, fortunately, but it does happen. And usually in that first session is really where people start seeing the difference, because all you have to do is shift a perspective, and like I said, I try to work on the core. So if you're looking at life from this perspective and you have 100 problems, instead of going in and trying to fix each one of those little problems, if you just change your perspective, now all of a sudden you're looking at life like this, you just cleared out half your problems.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Good point.
Because you're just looking at life. And that's one of my favorite things about, some call it spirituality, some call it just perspective shifting. It's that you can really make large shifts in a very short period of time. What I do is very action oriented. I don't want to sit and discuss, why you're unhappy for the next 6 months.
That's therapist.
I've got other things to do, and it's not real fun, So what I want to do is really get underneath that stuff, shift your perspective so you can find a healthier one that works for you, help you articulate it in a way that works for you, and then you just start living it. So it's, the effects are immediate, and they're very much in your wheelhouse. It's, if you're struggling, whatever you're struggling with, you should be able to shift a perspective and gain hope in that specific area almost immediately.
Yeah, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Glenn. I know you and I have a little session to go, and this is really, really helpful. I think it gives folks a good idea of how it all works.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you so much, Glenn. Take care.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.